It is time for another NFL season, and what better way to kick it off than with razor sharp picks. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hashtag Sports for another fun-filled season. Whether you're here Wednesday nights watching my razor sharp picks, you join me on Buffalo Bills game day for live play-by-play and reaction, or you join Paul and Mario right after the games for their analysis of the game, or you hang out with Ryan, Paul, Mario, and myself when we go live. There is a whole bunch of hashtag sports commentary, or whatever you want to call it, coming your way videos. We didn't even talk about the car videos that Paul and Mario do. There's so much coming your way. So as the 2023 season kicks off, if you're not subscribed to hashtag sports, be sure to do that. Follow us on all those social media channels, whether it be TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all of them. We have you covered. So make sure if you're not following us, you follow us for the 2023 season. And hey, let's hope our Buffalo Bills get the job done this season, right? They didn't do it last year. A lot of people thought they would. They unfortunately did not get the job done. But this year, hey, Daniel, good to see you. See you in the comment section. See a bunch of you. And listen, tell me what you're most looking forward to week one, other than our Buffalo Bills. Clearly, we're all looking forward to that. Cameron comes in with his week one picks. I'm going to give you my week one picks. Before I do that, however, I want to make sure that you guys remember how I finished the 2022-2023 season. So we ended against the spread. We went 9-7 in week 18. Not a great way to end the season. We were 146, 122-3 overall. That's 54%. Straight up, we had a great final week, week 18. We went 14-2, finished 174 and 97, 64%. So I'm hoping to actually do better this year. Listen, up until this year, I was a casual betting fan, right? I was a casual bettor. But this season, during the offseason, I've done a little bit more research. I'm not saying I'm any better. Absolutely not. We'll find out this season if I'm any better. But I'm trying to get better. There's some stats, some betting trends that I'm going to share with you in this video that I found out during the off season, whether it be seeing some other bettors lay out these stats for me or just doing the research myself. I'm going to do that for you every single week. And actually, it's going to start with our second game. We're going to get into our first game, which is the Thursday night football game, the first game of the year. And per usual, actually, the stat does affect this game too. But per usual, it's the Super Bowl, the defending Super Bowl champions, opening up at home. You get the banner, you get all that good stuff, right? You get the ring ceremony, the banner ceremony, whatever it is. I know they already got the rings, look pretty fancy there in KC. Mahomes will be excited. We do know about Travis Kelce's injury, right? He's a little limping right now. Hyperextended his knee. And listen, that could be a big problem. That could be a big problem, not just for the Kansas City Chiefs this week, but moving forward. Here's the thing about Travis Kelce. His body takes a beating. Week in and week out, he is getting hit hard. He's getting hit low sometimes. He's a big guy, so you have to be physical against him, even when he doesn't have the ball. So we know that his body takes a beating. 2, he's not getting any younger, right? He's not getting any younger. And so this could be a problem, especially when you look at the wide receivers at Kansas City. Who's Mahomes throwing to? But as he proved last year, it doesn't matter who Mahomes is throwing to. He's going to get him the ball. He is going to make sure he is going to give the right players the ball at the right time. So we go into this game on Thursday night football again. Big game this to start the thing off. Kansas City is going to be excited to be here. Detroit, all the hype, right? And the stat that I wanted to share with you guys that really helps me pick this game. All right, so last year, to start the 2022 NFL season, there were 7 starting quarterbacks who started the season who did not play at all in the preseason. Do you want to know what their record was in week 1? 1-6. 1-6 in those 7 games. And that matters. But everyone says preseason doesn't matter. They're practicing. I disagree. I think you have to play. Now, it doesn't matter how much time you necessarily play, right? Some Bills fans were upset we played out in that second game. Others really didn't care that much. Personally, I did not care that much. If you avoid injury, that's all I'm worried about. And you play the second game, you get your offense rolling a little bit. You want to see your offense leave on a good note, right? Especially those preseason games. So 1-6 last year. And we actually have we have 8 quarterbacks who did not play a single down in preseason who are now playing week 1 for their respective team. And it starts, of course, right here with Jared Goff. Jared Goff of the Detroit Lions did not play a single down in the preseason. So here are the 8 quarterbacks. You got Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, how many J quarterbacks are there? Like, wow. Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins, Matt Stafford, Dak Prescott, and Lamar Jackson once again. Again, they went 1-6 last year. I actually have them going 3-5 this year. So you have to wait and see who I have winning and who I have losing. But for this game here, Jared Goff already in a tough spot with or without Travis Kelce. Listen, when we heard about the Kelce injury, the line went down a full point to 4.5. Personally, I like Kansas City here. I think Patrick Mahomes is ready to go. He's ready to defend that title. I'm still not 100% convinced on the hype for the Detroit Lions. They have to prove it to me. And they can do it tomorrow night in a close game against the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that'll prove to me. But even in a close game, I see the Kansas City Chiefs covering this 4.5. So give me the Kansas City Chiefs to win the game. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs to cover that 4.5 point spread. And I know what y'all thinking. Take the over. I disagree. I completely disagree. I think you take the under here, especially with the Kelce injury. Not sure how many points Detroit's going to be able to put up. I think they're starting running backs a little banged up already, start the season. So Gibbs is going to get a good bit of action. Orlando Brown isn't in for the Kansas City Chiefs. That offensive line, I'm not sure how good they look, how well they're going to protect Patty Mahomes. So I'm not sure I like the over here, but I like the Kansas City Chiefs to win this game, and I like the Kansas City Chiefs to win against the spread. I agree with Dan Gowie's on this take. So now we move to Sunday, right? So we're going to move to Sunday, and we're going to first talk about the Baltimore Ravens at home against the Houston Texans. It'll be rare to see a Harbaugh finally on the sidelines this season. If you don't know, Michigan, a little suspension trouble there with Harbaugh for Michigan, but Baltimore, he's going to be on the sidelines. And again, you talk about that stat I brought up earlier with Lamar Jackson not playing at all in the preseason. However, Lamar Jackson was the only quarterback to not play last year in the preseason and win week 1. Now, he was playing against Joe Flacco, but let's be honest, we have a rookie starting over in Houston, so who knows how good he is going to become week 1, finally playing against an NFL-style defense. It's going to be very interesting to watch to see how he plays against the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens, who normally have a really good defense, I expect them to have a really good defense again this year. And guys, listen, if you have followed me in the past, if you've watched Razor Sharp Picks, you know how I have felt about double-digit spreads. But again, here we are, 2023. I've done a little bit more research. I am not just an average sports bettor this time. This time I'm looking deep into the books. And since 2012, here's the stat. Since 2012, double-digit favorites are 180, 139, and 9. That's good for 56%. 56%, that's winning, right? Because you're betting these games minus 110, so you only need to be, I think, about 52.5% to be on the winning side, and here we are at 56%. So I know in years past I've said that I don't like double-digit spreads, but I'm not going to look at it that way anymore. I'm going to look at each spread individually and say, why is this team a double-digit favorite? And the Baltimore Ravens going up against a rookie quarterback. I think the Baltimore Ravens win this game Daniel says they crushed the Texans. I don't know if they crushed the Texans. We saw the Texans play some pretty close games last year, just come out on the wrong end of those games. And that's just because they're developing, they're learning, they're going to grow. And I think as the season goes on, you're going to see a tough out with this Houston Texans team. But it's week one. It's a rookie quarterback. It's against Harbaugh, and it's against Lamar Jackson and a really good Baltimore team. Some people picking Baltimore to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. I'm not quite there, but I like Baltimore in this game. Maybe even like Baltimore to win the AFC North. And I like Baltimore to cover that 10-point spread. So that's what I think about the Baltimore Ravens game. Now we're going to move on to the Atlanta Falcons, 3.5-point favorites against Carolina Panthers. And listen, guys, this NFC South, I think this NFC South is going to be crazy this year. Not saying it's going to be the best division in the NFL, but you look at these four teams, you look at the Buccaneers, you look at the Saints, you look at the Falcons, you look at the Panthers, you can clearly see any one of those four teams winning this division. And that's what kind of makes this fun, right? The parity we have in football. Hey, Scott, good to see you in here. Hopefully you're joining me for another full 2023 Buffalo Bills season. Hopefully we can have some fun together. Obviously, we're going to wait till week 5 to get Von Miller back. But we should be all right without him. I think we should be all right without him. Haven't got to the Bills pick yet because, again, the Bills play Monday night. So make sure you join me on the 11th Monday Night Football. I'll be right here giving you a live play and reaction. But we're talking about the Falcons and the Carolina Panthers. I think the Falcons had a really good draft this year. I really like this Falcons team. And to be honest with you, they're my favorite to win the NFC South. You look at this Carolina Panthers team, again, rookie quarterback coming up. Not sure what to expect out of them coming into the season. I like the Falcons here. I know Daniel here says Carolina. Scott says Atlanta. I think so. Thank you, Scott. Really appreciate it. I can't wait either. I like the Falcons here, although this is going to be a close game. Divisional game. Again, any one of these teams can win it. I think Atlanta wins this game. I think it's a 3-point game. I think Atlanta wins by 3, maybe even less. Give me the Carolina Panthers to cover a 3.5-point spread, but the Falcons win this game. Moving on, you got a really good game here, a game that I'm really looking forward to, a game that I'll probably be watching come the 1 o'clock hour on Sunday. The Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow, remember that high ankle sprain during training camp, a little banged up, did not play this preseason. Talk about what that means potentially if you don't play 4 starting quarterbacks, if you don't play in the preseason, going up against a Cleveland Browns team who actually is coming off a little bit of a high against the Kansas City Chiefs in their preseason finale. Now, I know the Kansas City Chiefs didn't play any of their starters. I know Mahomes didn't play, starting defense didn't play. I understand all that. But the Cleveland offense under Deshaun Watson seemed to be clicking just a little bit better. A little bit better. Cleveland home dogs week 1 of the NFL season. I did look at a stat that talked about home dogs less than 3.5 points week 1 throughout history. It's really worked out actually for the home underdogs to at least cover the spread, if not win straight up. And that's what I have Cleveland doing here. I have the Browns winning this game straight up. I have the Cleveland Browns beating the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Cleveland Browns obviously then beating the spread as well. Listen, we don't know what to expect out of Joe Burrow. Still not 100% sold on this Bengals offensive line. They did some things during the offseason to try and address it. Daniel says, since he wins, Scott's with me. Cleveland's going to come in there. I think this is a big upset. Not my upset of the week, though, so stay tuned for that. This would be a big upset, big statement win for the Cleveland Browns week 1. Maybe, they use Chubb a little bit to use the running game, the ground game. I think the under here is a pretty safe bet, actually. But I do like Cleveland to win this game and Cleveland to beat a 2.5-point spread. Another fun 1 o'clock game that I'm really looking forward to when I'm not watching the Cincinnati Cleveland. And listen, I know that a lot of you out there can't afford Sunday NFL ticket. I understand that, which is one of the reasons why I do broadcast the Bills games. But since I have Sunday NFL ticket, it's going to be fun clicking between the Cincinnati Cleveland game and the San Francisco Pittsburgh game. This is going to be a fun one as well. We all saw Joey Bosa just signed that massive extension. Hey, King Cam, good to see you. Glad that you're in the chat as well. Joey Bosa just signed his contract, so he'll be ready to go. Now, I don't think he'll play 100% of snaps, but he is a veteran guy enough that when the defensive coordinator says, hey, just go hit the quarterback, he can do that, right? So maybe 25, 30, maybe 35% of the snaps in week one. And that's going to change the whole dynamic of this game. The whole dynamic of this game changes just when Joey Bosa is on the field. Before the signing, I was leaning towards Pittsburgh to not only cover, but to get the upset win in this game. I really was, to be honest with you. But now I think San Fran wins this game. Again, low-scoring game. I don't see a lot of points in this one. Give me the San Francisco, but I would stay away from the over-under. Don't touch the over-under this game. I think this might be one of those tricky ones where we sneak into the over, but I'm not 100% sure. Give me San Fran to win this game, San Fran to cover that 2.5 point spread. Moving on to a game that I just don't like this week. I really don't like it. I have no reason to watch this game. I don't think either of these teams are actually going to be good this year. I really don't. You look at these two teams, Arizona just come out and naming their starting quarterback. And I already figure who it is. I just don't care, right? No Kyler Murray, got rid of DeAndre Hopkins. They are not looking to win football games this year. They're looking for that Caleb Williams #1 overall pick next season. I hope it works out for him. I really do. But if you look at who the Arizona Cardinals have drafted at quarterback the last few times they've drafted a quarterback, hey, Josh Rosen, and didn't work out. You only gave him one season, but gone. Kyler Murray, he was supposed to be a stud, and it started out, he was exciting, he was electrifying. We as Bills fans all remember that Hail Murray play, right? Where everyone thought that this was the Arizona Cardinals coming out party, and this was them beginning to move up in the NFC West, and just didn't happen that way. It just didn't happen. Yeah, Daniel comes in, Bosa 5 years, $170 million, crazy, right? Beats out the Darnold contract. Scott says the Cardinals will have the worst record, and I believe that. I believe that, and I believe that's what they're going for. I really do. Even though I'm not a fan of teams tanking, and listen, the players aren't going to tank. The players are going to try their hardest, and Arizona's going to get a few wins this year. But I'm not a fan of GMs just saying, hey, we're going to tank this year and hope we get a Caleb Williams. Because if you look since 2000, only 2 quarterbacks selected #1 overall have won the Super Bowl. Eli Manning and Matthew Stafford. But here's the thing. Neither one of them won a Super Bowl with the team that drafted them #1 overall. And some people might say, it's just the stat doesn't matter. A quarterback winning isn't a quarterback stat, yada, yada, yada. But the numbers matter. So we're talking about 22 years of drafting. Listen, you could love Joe Burrow. You could love Justin Herbert. How many rings do they have right now? 0. All that matters is winning. Nothing else matters, right? When it comes to the game that we love, winning is all that matters. As far as player safety, we want that. Of course, we want that, right? I'm not saying that doesn't matter. That's the most important thing. We all remember what happened to Damar Hamlin last year. We want nothing even close to that happening this year with anybody. But winning is what matters. Winning is what people remember, okay? And so I, as a GM, would never want to tank. I get it. Caleb Williams is going to be great, but we've heard this before. Suck for luck. How many Super Bowl championships did Andrew Luck win? 0. So would you decide to kind of sabotage your team if you were a GM? Let me know in the comment section. If you're not watching this live, let me know in the comments below. How would you handle it? That's a lot of cheddar, says John. It absolutely is. And I would love to have that much cheddar in my pocket. Unfortunately, that's not here yet. Hopefully, with this against the spread with these picks, I start getting a little bit of that money. A little bit of that money coming in by the end of the season. We will definitely see. But that's neither here nor there. Let's move on to this game. Listen, I don't trust Washington with a 7-point spread. What has Washington done to prove that they can deliver on a 7-point spread? Listen, Washington, I think, is the better team. We talk about how Arizona's going to have the worst record in the NFL. Washington is going to win this game. I understand all that. They have a good defense. It's going to be a low-scoring game, probably. Arizona's not going to score a lot of points. But why would I trust the Washington Commanders to cover a 7-point spread? I just don't. I just don't. So give me the Washington Commanders, and will they change their name again soon? Who knows? To win this game, but give me the Arizona Cardinals to come out swinging. Come out swinging. These players, again, are going to play hard. So give me the Cardinals to cover that 7-point spread. Then go on to a team who no longer has Tom Brady. The TB doesn't stand for Tom Brady. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to Minnesota, where they are 6-point dogs against the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings having a great season last year, record-wise, but then to no one's surprise, being eliminated early in the playoffs, I think by the Giants, if I remember correctly. Also, the Vikings winning a lot of close games last year, right? I think they went 11-0 in games decided by one score last season, which is insane and good for them. They were definitely proven, right? They were definitely a team that was ready to go. But again, they lose early in the playoffs last year. Scott says Minnesota easy. And I think Minnesota's going to win this game. I think Kirk Cousins, we all know what 1 p.m. Kirk Cousins looks like, right? 1 p.m. Kirk Cousins does great, does phenomenally. So give me the Minnesota Vikings. You got Jefferson, you got Addison, a new addition. I know they lost a little bit with Cook in the running attack, but I think they're going to make up for it. I think they're going to do just fine with that running attack. Tampa Bay, again, with a lot of these teams in the NFC South, you just don't know what to expect. New quarterback there in Tampa Bay for, I think it's Baker, right? In Tampa Bay. So you really don't know how he's going to respond. He hasn't really proven anything yet in his career. Give me the Vikings to win this game, the Vikings to cover a 6-point spread. Moving on, and Daniel agrees, Minnesota wins straight up and against the spread. So again, that's something to look at come Sunday. Now we go to the Colts and Jaguars, and a lot of people are picking the Jaguars, guys, and rightfully so. Maybe you got to talk about Trevor Lawrence. You're talking about a really good team over there in Jacksonville, good defense, a team that's really primed to win the AFC South and maybe make a deep playoff run. Some people are picking Trevor Lawrence to win the MVP, kind of like a dark horse to win the NFL MVP this season. I like it. I get it. I love it. Whatever. But look how Jacksonville does against the Colts in Indianapolis. It's not great. Remember a few years ago, they went to Indy week 18. I think it was week 17, week 18. It was last week of the season. And it was, man, win and you're in the playoffs. All you have to do is beat the lowly Colts and you're in the playoffs. And they got smoked. So, you look at this game and obviously you immediately think Jacksonville, but I think we got to take a little deeper look into this game. And I know Richardson's the new QB there, Scott. I understand all that. Jags overall overhyped is what Scott says, and maybe so. And some people think they have a cakewalk in the AFC South. I'm not quite so sure about that. I look at this Titans team. Ryan Tannehill's always been underestimated his whole career when he moved from Miami. Listen, Miami Dolphins fans wanted to keep him. He was just injury prone, and Miami was just ready to move on. You have to understand that. Then he went to Tennessee. No one gave him a chance. Remember, Tennessee won the division a few years in a row. One year they went 14-2. Now, yeah, they lost in the first round to the Ravens, but you got to give credit where credit is due when you talk about the Titans. But we're not talking about the Titans right now. We're talking about the Jaguars and the Colts. I know the Colts have a rookie quarterback, but I think a rookie head coach too, right? They got rid of Frank Reich. But I look at the numbers and I see how Indy has done, even as underdogs in Indy against Jacksonville. Now, I think Jacksonville's gonna exercise their demons, so to speak, in this game. I think Jacksonville's gonna exercise the demons of the Colts in Indy. Jacksonville's gonna win this game. But give me the Indianapolis Colts to cover that 5-point spread. Home underdogs with point spreads of 3.5 or higher ended 2022 season at 38-22. 38-22, 63%. Let me repeat that. Home underdogs, which is what Indy is, with point spreads of 3.5 or higher. So this is 5 points, more than 3.5. Ended 2022 season at 38-22 against the spread, 63%. We have 3 games. This is the first of those games right here. Give me the Jacksonville Jaguars to win but give me the Colts to cover that 5-point spread. Moving on to the team we were just talking about in the AFC South, the Tennessee Titans going to New Orleans, playing the New Orleans Saints. Again, as I was just talking about, these Tennessee Titans have been underestimated for a while now. Even their 14-2 season, no one saw it coming. They still have Derrick Henry. Now, sure, Derrick Henry's getting older. He's getting to that 30 number that really scares you when it comes to running backs. But they just signed D-Hop too, right? DeAndre Hopkins could add something to this offense. And don't tell me that Ryan Tannehill cannot get D-Hop the ball. He can, and he will. He will get D-Hop the ball, and D-Hop can make some plays still. As a Bills fan, obviously I wanted him here in Buffalo so badly next to Stephon Diggs. I thought that would make this Bills offense unstoppable. And it's pretty close to unstoppable right now, but we'll just have to wait and see. We just have to wait and see. What does D-Hop have left in the tank? What does D-Hop want to prove to the rest of the league who passed him up? He was free for the taking, and they passed him up. Then I'm going to Tennessee. New Orleans, again, we talked about the NFC South teams, not sure what to expect. Not sure why the Saints are the favorite, but if you remember, in Vegas, they normally give the home team a 3-point cushion. So when the Saints are 3-point favorites at home, Vegas is really saying this might be an even matchup, but we're giving it to New Orleans because they're at home. We're giving them the 3 points because they're at home. I don't buy it. I like the Titans overall. In the long term, Buffalo might be better with Kincaid over D-Hop. I agree, but I'm talking about this season. And we just because we got D-Hop doesn't mean we couldn't have gotten Kincaid, right? We didn't trade for D-Hop. You could have just got him. So we could have D-Hop and Kincaid. Wow. I think Tennessee wins this game. Daniel agrees with me. Give me Tennessee to win this game. Give me Tennessee to cover the spread or beat the spread. Scott says New Orleans going to win by 1. Mr. Fulton says going with the Colts in the last game. I see that too. So I like Tennessee in this game. Give me Tennessee for the upset, or what would be considered the upset. Give me Tennessee to beat a 3-point spread. Then you go to the 4 o'clock games. This is the start of the 4:25 games. No 4:05 games this season. No 4:05. They got rid of them. They got rid of them and said, listen, we want all the games at 1 o'clock to end. Even if they go into overtime, we want you guys to watch all of that game before we go to the 4:25 games. That scares me a little bit. Probably means more commercial breaks. Probably means you have to hear more about me just rambling on during Bills games because I don't know what else to do to cover those commercial breaks. But I'm going to do it anyway because we all know how much I love to talk. And it's going to keep happening. You have the Las Vegas Raiders going to Denver, going to Mile High to play the Denver Broncos. All eyes on Denver this season, right? Can they turn this around? Can Russell Wilson, now he has Sean Payton as his head coach, become a little resemblance of what we saw in Seattle? Because let me tell you something. Last year, it did not look good. You look at Las Vegas getting Jimmy G. Now, is Jimmy G a product of the system? Because one thing we know about Jimmy Garoppolo is he's a winner. He's a winner. He's been to the Super Bowl, won NFC Championship games. Was he a product of the system? Or can he go to another team and start winning? Surprise some people. I look at Las Vegas, maybe a little bit like we looked at Tennessee when Ryan Tannehill came in. Now, I'm not saying that Las Vegas is going to have the same success. I wouldn't say that at all because there was no Kansas City Chiefs team in the AFC South when Tannehill got there. There just wasn't that team. So you look at Las Vegas, you look at Jimmy G, what success can he have? I don't know what kind of success he can have, to be honest with you. I don't see it. I don't see what other people see. I see, you have Josh Jacobs there. I understand that. There are some people saying that Las Vegas is going to have the worst record in the AFC, and I could see that. In fact, I could see these two teams fighting for that unfortunate distinction of being the worst team in the AFC. However, here, I think that Sean Payton does get this team to be a little bit better, right? A little bit better. Not sure if I'm buying the hype of them fighting the Chargers for a potential wild card spot. Don't buy any of that. But I think Denver wins this game. Scott has the Raiders winning this one. Daniel has the Broncos win this one. I think Denver wins this game. I think Denver covers that 3.5-point spread at home. Now, out of the 4 o'clock games, the 4:25 games, I should say, this is probably the game I'm looking forward to the most. Not only because it's the Miami Dolphins and the division rival and all that, and the LA Chargers, who are a potential playoff team. Both these teams made the playoffs last year, not because of any of that. Maybe or because of all of that. These two teams are just fun to watch, right? If you watch both these teams when they are clicking on all cylinders, they're just fun to watch. I know as Bills fans, you hate to say it, but listen, there might not be a better wide receiver tandem out there. In fact, I'd be willing to say they are the best wide receiver tandem out there, Waddle and Hill. Like that wide receiver tandem on the field, it has to be one of the best wide receiver tandems we've seen in a long time. You know, I would say that they would rival Randy Moss, Chris Carter. Not as good, but that's the potential we're talking about, right? That's the potential that we could have here in Miami. And that's a scary thing to think about, especially if you're a Bills fan. Can Tua stay healthy? Can that offensive line help Tua stay upright? Chargers by 10. They're healthy, says Scott. Chargers win, says Daniel. 3-point spread at home. But let's remember, in LA, at least for the Chargers, the fans just don't show up. Why? I don't know. Because it's LA and they have better things to do, which I can understand that. So this might be more of a home game for Miami than an away game. But I think this game is going to be close. Not like Scott. Scott says this is going to be a 10-point spread. Don't think any of that. I think the Chargers do win this game at home. But I think the Dolphins cover the spread. I think this is a close game. Again, I think I would actually go the under here. Week 1, the under pays more than the over. Week 1 unders are hitting at like 58% since 2015 or something like that. I'd have to look at that number again. Like it's a pretty good hit for the unders week 1 in the NFL. But I like the Chargers in this game. I like Miami to cover the spread. Again, I would probably stay away from the over-under here, but that's what I would pick. Moving on, we've got another divisional matchup. A few divisional matchups this week, which is a lot of fun. I always love divisional matchups. And this goes back to one of the stats that I said earlier about teams not starting their quarterback week 1, Matthew Stafford, in the preseason, how they fare week 1, at least last season. And Matthew Stafford is one of those guys again this season. So if you weren't with me at the beginning, last year 7 starting quarterbacks did not play a single down in the preseason. They went 1-6 week 1. That includes Joe Burrow. That includes a few other names, not as Kyler Murray was one of those names. So obviously not the biggest names. Of Matthew Stafford again was one of those names, but still is something you have to look at. You look at the Seattle Seahawks team, how they overperformed last year. Now, I think the Seattle Seahawks are the team that's going to win the NFC West. I'm not 100% sold on Brock Purdy being the guy in San Fran. Oh, San Fran is. So we'll wait to see what happens there. I like Seattle come out of the West. I think they just will continue to improve. Kenneth Walker has impressed me his first season. I expect nothing less this season. The coaching holds back the Chargers, says Daniel. New coaching over with the Chargers, so we'll see how they do there. But I like the new offensive coordinator, at least. I like the Seahawks in this matchup to win. I know it's a division matchup, and I know that we want this to be close. But listen, Cooper Kupp already suffered a little bit of injury in the preseason. Not sure what he'll be at come week 1. Again, Matthew Stafford did not play at all in the preseason, and that includes missing a lot of the end of last season as well. So he hasn't been in full action in a long time. I think he's going to come out a little rusty. What will that running game provide? I think McVay is very smart still. I think he's a very smart coach, but I feel like the Rams are beginning to really begin to understand what they gave up in order to win a Super Bowl. It worked for them. They won that Super Bowl. They got themselves that ring. But now they have to suffer the consequences. The Seattle Seahawks win this game. The Seattle Seahawks cover that 5.5-point spread. And now we move on to another fun 4 o'clock game, another one that includes a division rival, if you're a Buffalo Bills fan, as we go to Gillette Stadium, where the New England Patriots are at home, 4-point underdogs against the Philadelphia Eagles. And listen, guys, we talked about some stats when we're going into betting. We talked about it, right? Talked about quarterbacks who don't play in the preseason. Hurts was one of those guys. In fact, the Philadelphia Eagles didn't play their first string at all this preseason. Very scary to think about. What's their timing going to be like? What's their rhythm? They're not going up against the Philadelphia Eagles defense. And whether you like it or not, whether you say, oh, it's live action in practice, it might be, but the offensive coordinator knows the defense, knows what the defense is going to run, and knows how working around that. The defense coordinator knows what the offense is going to run. You don't know what New England's going to run if you're a Philadelphia Eagles coach. You don't know. So you talk about Jalen Hurts not playing in the preseason. You talk about home underdogs with point spreads of 3.5 or higher ended 2022 at 38-22, 63%. This is one of those games. So the Philadelphia Eagles are walking into a trap, it looks like. A trap. And that is why this is my upset of the week. Now, this game might be 4, might be 4.5, depending who you bet with. And that's fine. That's fine. I don't care what it is, because I have this game. Daniel doesn't believe me. That's okay. Doesn't matter. Because I looked at stats. I have betting stats on my side. Not saying that always works out that way. Again, 63%. That means that there's still 37% of the time where it doesn't work. Right? Give me the Patriots in my upset pick of the week. And if you want to go psyche here, let's not forget about the Super Bowl hangover for the losing team and the record that happens with that. So give me the Patriots, Gillette Stadium, to win this one. Defensively, they shut down the Eagles long enough for Mac Jones, Stevenson, for a couple of those guys to get it going, score some points, and throw a wrench early into the Philadelphia Eagles season. Giving the Eagles a loss here, week 1. Give me the Patriots to win this one. Give me the Patriots to beat a 4-point spread. Again, my upset of the week. Now we go to a game where the Bears go against the Green Bay Packers. No more Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. What can Jordan Love do with his first time with some real NFL action? Sure, he played against Kansas City, got his butt whooped, all that. But now we've known all offseason, Jordan Love is the starter of the Green Bay Packers. And listen, no one wants to talk about it. This Packer team, a lot of young talent. I think this Packer team is going to be really good. I think this Packer team might be the NFC North champs by the end of this season. That's how good I think this Packer team is. But you look at the NFC North, maybe not as unknown as the NFC South, but I could see maybe all 4 of these teams winning that division again this year. You can't count Minnesota. They won it last year. Justin Fields has some weapons now. That defense, Tremaine Edmonds is there, looks a lot better. You look at the Detroit Lions. Of course, everyone's hyping on them a lot. And this Packer team, young talent, Jordan Love, so have Aaron Jones in the backfield, have a really good squad. So that's why in this game, even though it is in Chicago doesn't play well against Green Bay, and that's before Aaron Rodgers. Now, of course, before Aaron Rodgers, they had Brett Favre, so you can argue that. I think Green Bay, same thing as Daniel. I go against Scott, unfortunately, in this one, and the Eagles one. I think the Green Bay Packers going to Chicago Sunday. No, I'm sorry. This is a 4 o'clock game, not the Sunday Night Football game. 4 o'clock game, beat the Bears, and the Green Bay Packers go 1-0. Because remember, Jordan Love isn't a rookie, right? It's his first time starting a season as a quarterback, but he's been in the league now for 4 seasons behind Aaron Rodgers. I like the Packers in this game. Now we move on to Sunday Night Football. Waiting all stream for Sunday night because, listen, Joe, your pick's kind of getting long-winded here. And next week, remember, we have 2 Monday Night Football games. Why don't they do it week 1 anymore? I don't know. Maybe someone in the comment section can help me out here. Why don't they have 2 Monday Night Football games week 1? It's been the past 2 or 3 seasons where it's gone. Week 2 is hosted the 2 Monday Night Football games. I don't understand it, but we will get Madden Cast again this year. Funny Madden Cast commercials going on right now. I hope you guys have enjoyed them. But right now we're talking about Sunday Night Football. We're talking about Carrie Underwood, Sunday Night Football, waiting all day for Sunday night. And I look again at what I've looked at so far when we talk about betting spreads. 3.5 at home last season, 63%. I like that. Quarterbacks not playing in the preseason, 1-6 last year. Sounds pretty bad. Dak didn't play in the preseason this year. Sounds pretty bad. Not only that, Jerry Jones just got another quarterback without really Dak Prescott really knowing about it, right? Trey Lance is there now. Is there a little smoke? Because remember, when there's smoke, there's fire. Just ask the media when it comes to Stephon Diggs. When there's smoke, there's fire every time. Let's create drama. Let's do it. Let's do it right here on #sports. Why is Trey Lance there? Is this Dak Prescott's last chance? And if Dak starts off poorly, I'm talking 1-3, 1-4, do they turn to Trey Lance? What if Dak gets hurt and Trey Lance comes in and plays well? So I'm with Tony Romo and Dak, right? Like this is unprecedented. What happens there? So Dak, injury concerns. Hopefully none of that happens again. I don't want injuries. I hate injuries, all of them. Trey Lance there now. Didn't play all preseason. The Giants at home. I like the Giants in this matchup. Dallas loses again, says Scott. Daniel comes in with Dallas straight up and against the spread. I like the Giants at home in this situation. We also saw what Brian Dable did last year with this Giants team. Now he's had another off season. His rookie job as head coach, he led this team to playoffs. Saquon's still healthy. Daniel Jones, whether you like him or not, he can be reliable, and that's all you need sometimes. Defense looks good with the Giants. I like this Giants team. Maybe even this Giants team makes some noise as far as potentially being at the top of the NFC East. Not just fighting for a wild card spot. Maybe, just maybe, this Giant team can fight with the Cowboys, can fight with the Eagles throughout the majority of the season, and perhaps fight for that NFC East title. Stranger things have happened. But as far as this game goes, give me the Giants at home, 3.5-point dogs. Dak didn't play in the preseason. I like it. Give me the Giants to win. Give me the Giants to beat a 3.5-point spread. But that's not what we're here for, Bills fans. What are we here for? We're here for Monday Night Football. We go to East Rutherford, and we play the New York, New Jersey, Jets, Jets. I'll be live for this one. Come join me for play-by-play and reaction. Gonna have a great time. Always have a great time when I'm hanging out with Bills Mafia, mi familia. The Bills come in 2.5-point favorites. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. Let's see if they can get along because we don't know how much they hate each other. Apparently. Talking about Dalton Kincaid. Can Gabe Davis finally become a true number 2? James Cook, let him cook all day. What are we going to see? Now, if you followed #sports, you know that when we did our early game-by-game prediction for the Buffalo Bills, I had the Bills losing this matchup. And I'm not going to lie, guys. Scott says Bills win by 40. That would be a shock, right? Daniel says Bills win straight up and against the spread. I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm not as sold as Scott as far as winning this game by 40. I just don't see it happening. I don't see the Bills winning this game by 40. I don't see them winning this game by 10. I see this as a very low-scoring game. Remember last year when the Buffalo Bills played the Jets, Josh Allen was clearly frustrated at the end of that second game, clearly frustrated that he couldn't figure out this Jets defense, and we're still going to have that issue. Robert Saleh over there, head coach. They're going to coach this Jets defense up. And you still have Sauce Gardner over there. You still have a really good defense. And now, instead of having Zach Wilson or Joe Flacco or me or you in there playing quarterback, they have a 3-time NFL MVP, a guy who just won the MVP 2 seasons ago. Yeah, Breece Hall back from injury. You got another running back in Cook. This is a cook first cook now, right? Cook first cook. Who's going to cook? We're going to see. We're going to see on Monday Night Football. But listen, even though I'm not 100% sold on it, what kind of Bills fan, what kind of Bills content creating channel would this be if week 1 of the NFL season I'm picking against my team? I'm not going to do that. We're not going down like that. Even if the Jets somehow pull off this victory, I'm not concerned about the Bills just yet. Not as concerned as the rest of the media is going to make you believe. The Jets might have a chance to win this division. The Dolphins may have a chance to win this division. Let me tell you something. The Bills lost 3 games last season by a combined total of, I believe, 8 points. And we finished 13-3. Hello? Is this thing on? Hello? This Bills team is still as good on paper, and they're going to show it on the field. They're going to show it on this field. This offense is going to be able to put up some points. Scott says 43-3. I just don't know about that, Scott. Remember, Von Miller isn't in this game, so getting pressure on Aaron Rodgers might be hard. We all saw how the Bills did last year getting pressure on the quarterback when Von Miller wasn't in. Sure, we got a little bit better in that department. We got some more depth at the defensive end position. I believe it. But listen, if you've been following me this offseason, I'm not sold on Ed Oliver. I know he's looked good in preseason, right? Like, whoop-de-doo, there's Ed Oliver for you. I don't know why you gave him the contract extension, but now he earns it. Now is your chance to earn it. Monday Night Football, I'll be live, giving you live play-by-play and reaction as we watch the Buffalo Bills in what I think is going to be a great game, beat the New York Jets and cover a 2.5-point spread. Tyler Bass comes in towards the end, 16-13, 19-16, something like that. A little something like that. A little something like that. That's what I think is going to happen on Monday Night Football. It's going to be a good time. Give me the Bills to win this game. Bills to cover that 2.5-point spread. So let's go over it one more time real quick. Going down this list straight up, you got the Kansas City Chiefs winning. Baltimore, Falcons, Browns, 49ers, Washington, Vikings, Jaguars, Titans, Broncos, Chargers, Seahawks, Patriots, Packers, Giants, Bills. Against the spread. Again, against the spread, 54% last year. I want to get 57% this year. That's what I'm looking for. 57% against the spread. We had some great weeks last year. We had some really bad weeks last year. I think we got off to a really slow start last year, if I remember correctly. But against the spread, give me the Chiefs, Ravens, Panthers, Browns, 49ers, Cardinals, Vikings, Colts, Titans, Broncos, Dolphins, Seahawks, Patriots, Packers, Giants, Bills. I think it's going to be a fun week 1. It starts tomorrow. Hopefully we start our winning tomorrow as we celebrate our Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs as they start the defense of their championship. It's going to be a fun season. I look forward to hanging out with all you guys. Again, remember, join me every single Wednesday night. Or at least I hope I'm live every Wednesday night. We all know how things come up, things change, plans get kind of crazy. So follow me on Twitter. For some reason, I can't get my picks on here. I'll be sure to tweet them out so you guys can follow along all season. Again, looking to get 57% against the spread, maybe get up to 65, 66% straight up. Finish with less than 100 losses straight up, and that's really where I'm at every single season. If you finish with less than 100 losses straight up, I think that's pretty good. If I finish with less than 100 losses against the spread, I'll take that too. Get some of that Joey Bosa money as you're talking about. But guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me on this Wednesday. If you're watching this not live and you're stuck around for a full 50 minutes, thank you. Appreciate it. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, like this video, and leave a comment. Let me know your picks for week 1 of the NFL season. I'll see you Monday, if not before then. Not sure what's going on here at #sports. Always unsure. That's what keeps it fun. That's what keeps it interesting. I look forward to seeing you all at least on Monday, if not beforehand. I'll talk to you all soon. Until I do, go Bills.